everyone. Welcome to Escape Velocity, the show where we chart the next trajectories in the crazy world of AI, crypto, and everything in between. I'm Teng Yan, the founder of Chain of Thought Research, and I'm joined with CK, the founder of TensorPlex Labs. And today, all of you here are in for a real treat. We have one of the sharpest minds in crypto and AI in the space really here to chat with us. So, hey, CK, why don't you introduce our guest and we can get this going?
Yeah, we have Fiskantes, who is the CIO at Sigil Fund, which is a liquid crypto fund, and partner at Zee Prime Capital, a crypto VC. And he's also in general a very sharp investor, and I think he's pretty early to investing in Nvidia and Palantir and probably quite a few other good stocks. So so I'm very privileged to have successfully invited him here to do a conversation with us, and we can learn more about his thoughts on AI, crypto cross AI, and more.
Hello guys, what's up? Thanks for the introduction. I just want to say I'm definitely not one of the sharpest minds in AI by a long shot. I think I'm maybe one of the luckier guys out there in the investing field, but definitely there are more advanced people than me.
Yeah, we're here to learn how you think, and I think we will have a very good conversation because we're all trying to figure out this whole tech, crypto space all together, and a lot of very interesting changes have happened in the last couple of months.
Yeah, and if you share with us the next Nvidia, then I don't care if you're the top 1% or top 10% in AI. That's enough for me. So yeah, let's get it started. And for listeners that are unfamiliar, can you give us a quick intro, to your background, like how you got into investing, your current role in in crypto funds, and how you started investing in AI?
Got it. Well, how I got into investing, that's a very long story. But TLDR, I was studying law and I joined some broker competition where they gave you money for paper trading stocks. And I didn't know what I'm doing. I didn't even know as some 18-year-old, I can even buy some American stocks before. I'm from a small town from Eastern European country. So I started aping my paper money into some biotech stocks and weird stuff. And I ended up being third out of 200 people while not knowing what I'm doing. So I got immediately hooked. I didn't have much capital back then to invest. So I started playing poker as well, which turned out to be my profession for 5 or 6 years. And then when I made some money, I always tried to put it into some stocks. I was not really good at it. First, I was trying to be more like a value investor, but then I realized it's much better to invest in stuff that's moving fast and that can be somehow mispriced because it's a new technology, something that people don't understand. So yeah, I made plenty of mistakes in my early years of stock investing. And then when 2017 came, I went into crypto. I got hooked on those, which were similar to startups from my point of view. I can invest in startups which are quite liquid. These little tokens are actually liquid. I can buy with $2,000. I don't have to have a big position like a big VC. From there on, I was doing it basically professionally for 1 year for myself. And then I had many poker player friends who wanted to invest with me. So they approached me. They said, I want to give you money so you can invest in this weird crypto market instead of me because I want to focus on poker. So this was our first, let's say, investor target group. I started doing that. Then with some of my very good friends from poker, we actually formalized it into a crypto hedge fund in Gibraltar in 2018, and we wanted to raise $3 million. We got it committed, but by 2018 markets went down, so we actually had to start instead of $3 million, we only got $150,000. At the same time, when I also met guys from Zee Prime, which were doing something a bit different, like a VC, and they offered me to join as partner as well, help them to research and to find new opportunities on the VC side. So I was doing both of these things in parallel. And I'm still doing that right now. Since then, both of our funds grew quite a lot. We kind of entered into something that you can call a joint venture, where both of Zee Prime and Sigil are under the same legal umbrella currently. Sigil is currently managing something around $250 million under management. Is across two liquid vehicles. One of them is market neutral. One of them is crypto long hedge fund. And the VC funds, which are now 3 of them, they are managing around, it will also be around 250, 300 million. So like both of these venues became quite successful, although they work quite differently. I kind of think of myself as mixed martial artist of investing, in a sense that I'm trying to do a bit of everything, a bit of VC, a bit of liquid, and I'm kind of like more high level, and then we have people in our team who are much more focused in one of these areas. So yeah, that's my I guess that's my investing journey so far. And outside of that, I also kept investing into stocks a little bit. And when I saw the first like LLM improvements like ChatGPT 2.5 and the first Midjourney image generation tools, I was quite impressed, and I thought that okay, like these like generative AI and LLMs may probably become like the next like technological thing. Yeah, very simply, I just like invested in some stocks that I thought that may benefit the most out of this new trend very passively, and yeah, I got quite lucky, I guess, in that area as well.
I see. So I guess that's when you bought Nvidia.
Yeah, I mean that's when I wanted to like basically just very passively. I was still focused, and I'm still focused 90% of my time on the crypto investing side, because that's where my edge is, that's where the best opportunities for us are, and where we are most connected and have the biggest expertise. But on the side, I always had some small stock portfolios, so I was thinking, okay, what are the companies or stocks I can buy to give me the best possible exposure on this potential new AI trend, which I don't have to like babysit or like understand too much, where I don't have to go too much into the detail of like the daily financials of the company. So for me, it was like my thought process was quite simple. I wanted to find some companies that are considered market leader, sort of like almost like undisputed market leader. I didn't want to invest in something where there are like 10 different competitors and each of them has like almost equal market share, because then like you need to analyze all of them and you need to kind of understand which one has the edge in which like category, right? So I was really trying to find a place to park my money where there is like one big player and that player is dominating that sort of that category, and don't think about it too much. And the second part of my, let's say, thinking process was trying to figure out where is the bottleneck in AI, or where was it like 3 years ago. And it kind of dawned on me, even though I didn't really spend too much time thinking about it, but it dawned on me that it's probably like it could probably be the computation or the hardware. And it was also the simplest thing to understand back then. Like I didn't know like which models are going to win. I didn't know like which big corporation out of like big seven or whatever will be the one that captures everything. But I knew that all of them will probably need more chips, right? So and more GPUs. So that's what led me to buy Nvidia, which was the market leader in GPUs back then. And still is, obviously. I also bought some ASML, which was the leader, like undisputed leader in lithography, bought some TSMC. And I also bought like a runner-up just to have it covered, a little bit of AMD. So that was my first sort of like batch of AI stocks that I put money into, and I kind of like forgot about it for a year. And then I noticed that there are some other companies that have monopoly in different areas, and particularly I got very interested in Palantir when the Ukraine invasion started, because I realized like the, let's say, the world is going to become a bit more violent going forward, more than we've seen in the 90s and like 2000s. I saw that there are some like more conflicts brewing even in like Middle East and stuff. So I wanted to express this opinion on the investment side, and I guess the most no-brainer way to do it was Palantir. I saw some demo of them using some of their tools for analyzing the situation on the battlefield, and then like providing some like very actionable recommendations for the command of the battlefield. So that was quite impressive, and I just like took a bit of a dive into Palantir. I realized it's also quite a monopoly with like no other competitor nowhere near them, working with a lot of corporations and governments, and I just bought Palantir as well. Yeah, some of these stocks were like doing somewhat okay. Some of them, like Nvidia and Palantir, were outperforming basically everything else I invested, like including most of my crypto investments. So I just kept riding them, and then like over time took some profit. But overall, the size I put there was quite small compared to the rest of the stuff that I invest in. So it really didn't change my life in any way, but it was just nice to see that I can get lucky with timing in some other industry and not just in crypto.
I see. So right now you're still bullish. I mean, you took profits on Nvidia and probably Palantir as well. But are those still your leading picks right now?
I still hold them kind of. I kind of feel like I shouldn't be holding them now. I think they are quite overvalued, but it's very hard. It's very hard to like find something else, right? So I still hold them even though I hold like more positions of other companies now. I'm a bit more diversified. But yeah, they are still in my portfolio, but they are definitely not like 80% of my stock portfolio as they used to be.
I see. So I'm curious, for me, when I look at, what AI stocks to invest in, I usually think about, how has my usage pattern changed over time with AI, and I think that's how, I started looking at how to get exposure to OpenAI and Anthropic, etc. So I'm curious, how has you found your usage of AI changed across the years? Are you using a lot of AI nowadays for investing? Like how did it change your life right now?
So early on, when I was playing with it and when I got bullish on it, it was mostly just entertainment. Like I was creating images of random stuff, memes and whatever. It was really like enjoyable experience for me. It kind of awakened some, let's say, artistic sort of side in me. I was really enjoying that, but I wouldn't say it changed my life in any way. It was just like cool way to kill some time and play with it. And then whenever I try to use the early ChatGPT or some other LLM models, they were very basic and like first couple of questions you ask it and you chat with it a bit, it's like quite impressive. But then you go deeper into anything and you quickly realize that it's quite dumb or even like mid curve. Like it gives you some answer that sounds correct, but it's full of like vague terms and it's like just wasting your time. Now it's getting much better with like the deep research models and like the new reasoning models, even though on the edges they still, especially when you venture into topics that are kind of more specialized and you are kind of deep into them, you see that they are lacking. So right now I'm using like mostly ChatGPT, but other LLMs quite a lot, like very often. But on professional side in crypto investing, to be honest, not as much. The reason is that there is simply not enough, I would say at least, there is not enough good body of knowledge on the internet about crypto. So when you are using these LLMs, you are not accessing some like secret pools of knowledge that nobody else has. You're just accessing some aggregate knowledge from the data on the internet, maybe somehow like sorted and stuff. But it's basically like if you spend like I don't know like 2 months googling, you would probably have similar results as you have when you prompt something into the ChatGPT. And with crypto, it's just like it gives you very like weird answers because like most of the content about crypto online is very weird. If you are using it to invest in some other area, in some field which is much more, let's say, established, and there is like a long-standing body of knowledge and literature and academic papers about it, it gets much more decent. It still won't give you any sort of idiosyncratic like new like things or like new information, but it gives you like very solid baseline. So if you wanna, let's say, if you wanna buy some real estate, it can help you very well with like uncovering your blind spots and like figuring out like what are the average rates you should be aiming for. If you are investing in stocks, it can also give you some, like I would say, better than junior level analysis, even though it's like not perfect and sometimes it fucks up a lot of numbers. But it can give you like nice overview. But the deeper you go and the more expert you are in some field, the more you see like the mistakes it makes, and it kind of lowers your trust in it. So, today I mostly use it for some like AI ideas, but I still need to do much of the work and I need to learn how to prompt better to get better results as well. That's very important. In crypto investing, I think we find it useful for, even though we just started experimenting with it, is to help us with risk management because there is like a lot of like academic literature about risk management, position sizing, and all these like more formal sides of investing, which you can definitely use AI to teach you how to improve. And I would like to emphasize you should use AI to teach you. Like I would never, at this point at least, I would never use AI to do something for me, like completely. I would just use it to teach me something, and then I also need to like do a bit of my own work to figure out if AI is not bullshitting me. The other big area I'm using AI for is in my personal life is health and diet and fitness. This is very useful because there is huge body of knowledge about all of these things. And for example, I'm now on a special diet which I need to follow for next 2 months. It's quite restrictive, but it's very non-intuitive. It's not just like, oh, eat low carb or whatever. It's kind of like, it's like low histamine, something, something. Know which foods are high and low in histamine, and it's very hard to remember because it's not very intuitive. But if you use AI, you can just like post a screenshot of a restaurant menu, and the AI will give you the best option. It saves so much time. If you use it, or if you want to buy some specific, let's say, health supplements somewhere online and they are hard to find, like you would spend, or I would spend 3 hours Googling for it. AI will give me the best options, how I can buy it in my country, in my city, in the fastest possible way in like 5 minutes. So it really does save a lot of time on these surface areas. Let's say I get my blood test done. I can bring it to my doctor and it takes him like a couple of hours to reply with some analysis, or maybe days. AI will give me some reasonable answer or reasonable analysis of my blood work quite fast, even though like it mostly draws from, let's say, more mainstream knowledge, so like more niche stuff or kind of some of the weird things that you want to uncover, the AI doesn't always uncover, and it always plays it safe. So if you are doing some like something special with some special health protocol, it always tells you, oh, first try the mainstream sort of thing and always talk to your doctor. It's kind of very non-committal into anything weird. But if you don't know anything about like where to start when you have some like weird health issues or whatever, you just want to improve your health, like this AI is much better thing to start with than just going to some random doctor who will have their own biases. And so this is what I use it like very often, and it's quite helpful. And I also try to like use it to learn. I don't just like ask it questions and take the answers for granted, but I ask it questions in a way that it teaches me, it points me to more directions where I can research. And this is also very dangerous. You can get into this Wikipedia black hole trap, which like, I guess it happened to like any of us many times in the past. Like you try to research something on Wikipedia and then you click on some link which leads to another article on Wikipedia. Suddenly you are I don't know, you were researching portfolio management and you are now 20 pages deep and you are reading about Hannibal crossing the Alps with elephants, right? So this is very similar. Like sometimes I catch myself black holing with AI, like talking about various different topics and forgetting what I was initially going to do. So you kind of need to be careful to stay on track because it's very addictive, I would say.
Yeah, I do find myself in those type of holes quite often, but I feel like those are my fastest learning moments. Just like how back then when I click through Wikipedia and then I end up learning a lot of stuff that end up probably not being very useful, but probably look cool sometimes when I can recall very random historical facts, for example. So right now, I pretty much agree that AI is not very opinionated and it doesn't really know a lot of dark arts. Like in crypto, there are probably quite a lot of dark arts, and even in traditional investing, for investment managers that manage to make money over time, they probably have their own unique skills. But do you think in a few years, investing, maybe even crypto investing, would be a field where AI does better than people, and then a lot of TradFi, even crypto managers, they just lose their edge over time?
Well, it already happened in like high frequency trading a long time ago, right? So I guess what will be happening is the frequency of trading or investing that's still manageable for humans to retain their edge will need to prolong. So like milliseconds, AI definitely rules. Seconds, AI probably also rules. Minutes, I would still say AI rules, but like let's say investing like 5-10 years into the future into some like new field, like being a very early VC in some niche, it's still very hard for AI to grasp because you are working with so many like, let's say, soft assumptions about like even stuff like founder's personality. So I would say that like in the long time horizon, it will still be very hard for AI to fully replace some like human management team in some areas or most like areas. But in the shorter time frames, even like days to weeks, I think we will see much more, let's say, AI powered teams. That being said, I still don't think that we will have like some individual AI agents without any human touch kind of outperforming anytime soon. I like the Andrei Karpathy's analogy where he says that he still thinks that AI currently is more of a Iron Man suit rather than a Terminator. So it kind of, you wear the suit and it improves you, right? And it makes you more efficient. But Terminator is a standalone unit that like does something on its own. I think that we still have quite a long time to go before we reach any sort of like general intelligence where like there will be a investment fund or a company that's like fully run successfully by AIs only. I think it can happen. We probably need one more like step improvement or just like 10 times more computation than we have now. But at this point, I still feel like just like if you compete on very short term time frames as an investor or trader, like you better you better learn how to use AI very soon. If you are on like very long time horizon as a venture investor or some very long term oriented investor, I think like you're still quite safe, even though AI can help you, but it won't break you if you like don't use it like for everything every day.
Gotcha.
I would also say that it can replace like the junior analysts in the teams or like the content producers who are just writing these like market commentary articles and all these like things that are very easy to outsource and automate. I think that this will definitely happen, but like for the senior level decision making, I still think that we have like quite a long way to go. One sort of like observation I have that if you are like mid curve or if you are very mid, the AI is definitely like playing into your mid curve mainstream biases because it's also a bit mid curve. So what happens is that it helps you to generate mid work very fast, but it doesn't necessarily help you to create better or generate better work, more high quality work if you are not yourself like high quality sort of investor or thinker or analyst or whatever. So it kind of amplifies, like if you are below average content provider, content producer, like writer or whatever, you will just use AI to create much more below average content than you would on your own. So it accelerates and like it provides you with a lot of quantity, but it doesn't necessarily mean it will be better quality.
Yeah, I think AI forces us to go more left curve or right curve, basically, because like if you are good at being a second order effect thinker, then with AI you probably need to think one level deeper, just because AI can think to that level. So I guess that's that's the world we're heading towards. If we like going back to crypto investing, I'm curious, what do you think is the like net effect of the AI boom on Bitcoin, Ether, general L1 assets? Do you think this entire AI boom is bullish, bearish? Or is it not very certain? Like, what's its impact on crypto?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's extremely certain that I would say I'm leaning to say bullish, but I'm not extremely certain about it. Like the reason why it could be bullish is just first of all, like all these risk, new tech, cool things are correlated, right? So obviously, like sometimes like Nvidia and AI stocks are running and crypto is flat, and sometimes it's the opposite. But overall, like risk is one huge basket from macro perspective. So if people are excited about new technology in general, they're excited about AI, then AI pumps a lot, and they are asking, okay, what are the other new tech exciting investment field I can allocate now that Nvidia is extremely expensive? And then they find Ethereum and listen to Tom Lee shilling it, and they're like, okay, well, AI already pumped, so now it's time for crypto to pump, right? So there's like very sort of first level thinking. Then from, let's say, the actual like tech perspective, I do believe that any sort of AI agent or company that uses AI agents for anything financial, I think it just over time it will be clear that crypto is just much better infrastructure for AIs to use, like any sort of financial tooling. It's much better or much easier to connect to open source smart contract platform rather than to your banking API and do something there. So I think that if we believe, which probably we all believe, that like vibe coding is the future, and we will have many more people building many more new apps and writing code with help of AI, I would say it's just obvious that all of this code will be written on smart contract platforms because it's just easier way to deploy financial applications than anything else. And then, yeah, like if at some point there are like AI agents which are tasked to kind of like independently make money globally and like store wealth somewhere and like deal with capital, I think this is just my opinion, but it's not even that controversial, but I would say they will prefer to hold like crypto wallets rather than just like banking accounts, which will be much harder to manage and set up. Like any AI agent or any like software can just like create 1,000 Ethereum wallets like in few seconds, but good luck creating thousands of bank accounts, right?
I see. So bullish the stablecoin thesis.
Yeah, and I guess the bearish part could just be that like it's just like the more like zero sum argument where we would argue that there is now kind of short term at least there is a finite amount of money in the pool, and like if everyone is excited about Nvidia and buys Nvidia, there is not enough people who are excited to buy crypto, right? So like we've seen Nvidia like in one day can add the total market cap of or sorry, it's now worth the total market cap of all crypto, right? And it can add the market cap of Ether in a day, on a good day, right? So we see like how small the whole of crypto is compared to this like huge AI thing. And like there are probably many investors who are like, oh, I just allocate there because it's more exciting and maybe it's even more perceived as more stable and legit way to invest in technology than invest in crypto. But I would still say that overall the trends are very correlated, and the technology is all synergetic. And I mean, if we think that crypto infrastructure in general is 10 times improvement over traditional financial infrastructure, which is written in COBOL, like by some 55-year-old developer who needs to maintain it, right? Like, then, I mean, obviously AI is like X or more improvement in many areas, and crypto is 10x improvement in some areas, and both of these can work in synergy. So I'm bullish on both.
So, Fizz, just wanted to pull on that thread a little bit about like crypto investing and stuff. And I'm also feeling it like we've seen a lot of people like in the crypto space like shift their attention away from crypto into stocks, into equity, into so. And I think over the last like couple of months, we've also seen like a lot of the crypto stocks, the Circles, Coinbases, Robinhoods, all these have done very well. But the crypto tokens themselves in the last couple of months or most of this year hasn't really done very well, right? So I think there's a lot more capital that's flowing in the sort of equity market. So I'm curious, what's the kind of time frame you think about like, with the tokens? Like, does it? We know that the infrastructure is better. We've already seen some experiments with like stocks becoming tokenized and trading on chain. Is this something that will take quite a bit of time to play out for people to understand how this all works? Or is this a shorter, do you think it'll happen relatively quickly? Like where should people be focusing their attention to like in the next 1 or 2 years or so, if you had to take a swing?
First of all, in last few weeks, I think we see like some crypto tokens already catching up with stocks or some of these stocks. And I guess one thing is to like just focus on the winners like Coinbase, Robinhood, or even the big winners like Nvidia and Palantir, and then compare them to the whole crypto market. Definitely that looks really bad for crypto, but you can also just cherry pick from the crypto side. You can take a look at Hyperliquid or bunch of other stuff that outperform quite drastically. And like if we compare winners to winners and or like blue chips to blue chips, I don't think it's such a bad sort of loose situation for crypto. But in general, this cycle so far, it's apart from the early like meme coin season sort of thing, I would say that this cycle is mostly driven by institutions and sort of these winners keep winning dynamics. We see it in with stuff like stable coins like Circle and Coinbase and all the like now even ETH, Solana before Bitcoin, and a bunch of the big stuff. So what we see is that we don't see as many like newcomers that come out of nowhere and just like crush the market. I mean, there are a few, but not as many. They are not really stealing the narrative too much. And like the winners keep winning in a sense that even stuff that's like very old and just was around for like many years and didn't close shop and kind of had some early lucky treasury from early on that they can use. Now they like keep winning. Like for example, even Ripple is now on the spotlight, and it's partially because they had very big treasury early on and they did some legwork. They did a lot of marketing. They have a lot of business relationships, and just because they stayed around and they managed to kind of like not fall out of top 10. Now they are one of the winners. So I think this is what's happening in crypto now. We are kind of transitioning from the early stage of let's find what's the new exciting thing that wasn't here yesterday, but tomorrow it will be 100x, into, okay, so what are the things that already make sense, that already are making money or are around for a long time, have some Lindy, and they still keep working, and let's invest in those. On the stock side, obviously the capital pool is just much bigger, right? But you can also see in stocks, like there are so many like segments and fields, like micro caps and whatever, where if you compare them to like some Bitcoin or Ethereum or like anything big like that in crypto, they wouldn't do so well, right? So I guess it's maybe more useful to think about like the blue chips versus the rest. And so the question was, where should people like focus on? Like, to be honest, this is very individual. Like I personally still focus like 90% or 80 to 90% on crypto, and it's not because I'm necessarily that much more bullish on crypto than any other field, but it's because I just have so much more expertise in this field. I have business relationships, so I can get better information, better opportunities on my table than I would if I just focused fully on stocks. So for me, crypto is still the main business focus, where I make most of my money and I spend most of my time. And AI stocks and some other stocks, I have also a bunch of other things that I invest in stock market. I only do it quite passively, where I just spend a bit of time thinking about the potential big trends and just allocating in 1-2 things from each segment and just let it run. So that's me. But obviously many people have many different like skill sets and backgrounds. So I would say for average person who just wants to invest in technology and they don't have any specific knowledge or edge in any field, I would kind of say that it's a bit better to focus like 60 to 70% of the time on like stocks, AI sort of thing, and maybe just invest in crypto a bit more passively. So like the opposite of I am doing, I'm like investing passively in AI stocks, and I'm like quite active, and I know very well what I'm doing in crypto, so I focus on that. But I think most people who just have like some money to invest, I guess they should just invest passively overall, but maybe they could be able to make a bit more sense of what's happening in AI, because crypto is just such a weird field. But then also it depends on like who are you, how old are you, what's your risk appetite, because like crypto is still such a small industry which is quite misunderstood. And as I mentioned before, even AI, if you try to use it for some research, it will give you like sometimes very wrong idea about crypto. I think you can find much more edge if you want to go deep, and if you want to really spend like full time on something. I think it can give you much more edge. As a passive allocator, where you just care about risk-adjusted long-term returns with managing your risk and don't really need to hit and like X in order to make it from zero, I guess like being mostly in stocks makes more sense.
Gotcha. There's also this potentially perfect combo of AI crypto. So I'm curious, like, what is your framework? When you evaluate AI crypto pitches and projects, and are there some AI crypto projects that you're bullish on?
Wow, we don't really have specific framework that would be different than any other investment that we look at. And to be very, very honest, there is just like so much noise in this intersection, AI/crypto. It's just like bunch of buzzwords and like, weird sort of infrastructure/agent framework sort of things. It's very, very hard to find something with substance. So I wouldn't even say I wouldn't even say that from what I've seen right now, I'm particularly bullish on AI/crypto as like a big segment with a lot of opportunities. I would say there are very few opportunities, and it's like almost nothing is investable at this point. And it's just trying to find a pearl in like huge pile of shit. I will be very direct about this. It's mostly the founders who are mostly doing AI/crypto startup now. Would say 90% of them, it's some sort of a adverse selection, where if they were really good at AI, they would just raise like traditional VC around in AI field or Web2 field, they wouldn't have reason to go to crypto. So the people who do, most of the time, they don't have any special reason why it makes sense for them to integrate the crypto part. It's much more easy to, if you are mid, it's much more easy to raise money from crypto VCs because you promise them token and they are quite happy to flip it. And you would probably not raise from like top AI VCs. You try crypto angle, and then like the people who actually have very good ideas about AI, they will not go the crypto route most of the time. So there are only very few things I would say that where crypto slash AI like marriage makes a lot of sense. And even if it makes sense in theory, it's still very hard to like put it into practice. I would say that now like AI should be the crypto front end because it's so much easier to just like give your trade ideas or like trade execution orders or whatever to some AI agent, and he will like figure out the best way to execute them than you like clicking through multiple like wallets and chains and bridging everywhere. So I would say that in few years we will converge there, but it's a long way because right now like the security is not there, the infrastructure is not there, even the AI is not smart enough to really like be able to do it safely. So I think this is like long term, this is probably the most exciting part. And then we have Deepin where you can just like use some AI, some tokenized economic flywheel to bootstrap some adoption of some like infrastructure around AI, like some GPU network, like render. I think that kind of makes sense. At the same time, I'm not really sure it's something that will outperform just like holding Eden, Bitcoin, and a bunch of other stuff. But it does make sense from the bootstrapping perspective. And then you have like very weird things like BitTensor, which is like trying to do something quite, I would say, out of box. But at the same time, there are a lot of like weird constraints there on the technological side. So there are a bunch of things that I'm kind of following, and we also have few investments in AI slash crypto intersection, but it's definitely mostly noise, and it's very hard to like it's very hard to actually even figure out what would make sense in next like few years. And I definitely think you need to take more long-term approach, but at the same time, like right now, if we think that there is a reasonable chance we will have like super intelligence in like 5-10 years, it's very hard to think long term, like because world will look very differently. And I kind of feel like it shortens my time horizon a little bit. Like it doesn't matter what I do next 20 years when everything will be like ruled by super intelligent AI, right? So let's focus on the next 5 years. Yeah, that was a tangent, sorry.
Yeah, I think I've seen two very opposing views. There are people that think, oh, there'll be super intelligence in a few years and we're doomed, so let's just YOLO the next few years. And then there are also people that are like, oh, with super intelligence we're gonna live forever, so let's take good care of ourselves. So I think there are a lot of diverging views on how will AI play out. So I'd like to, at least from my side, I'm not sure if Teng Yan has other questions, but the last question I have for you is, are there some contrarian views that you hold about, where AI or crypto is heading towards? That's very different from what we commonly see on Twitter. That people always say, "Oh, AGI is near. Crypto value accrue only goes to companies." Blah blah blah.
I'm not really sure how contrarian these views are because I don't know how many people hold them or disagree with them. But I would say that currently AI investor or trader agent sort of thing that many people got excited about a few months ago, like, oh, I just give money to this AI and it will make money for me. It's very misplaced and overrated. I don't think this will really work. We've seen it in the past many times with like forex trading bots. Like people actually dream about this like money machines that just give money to these black boxes and they just like spit out more money. But yeah, this will, I think that AI agents will do a lot of other tasks better than humans before they do like investments and trading, especially for like regular guy, like whoever has this black box machine is incentivized to use it themselves and run a fund, maybe rather than just put it out there for anyone to use. I think AI will be much better, or in near future or right now, it's much better from investing side to give you this insight which is close to Keynesian beauty contest. So it will tell you what like people already agree on. because it's kind of like the aggregate knowledge on the internet, which is quite useful if you can use it this way. If you can like figure out if you want to figure out what majority of people will think. So it's kind of this like this idea that if you ask AI without searching, like if you disable the search and you ask AI like what is company X worth, or how much Bitcoin appreciated in last like 10 days without search, sometimes this AI will give you a number that's quite different than reality. And sometimes it's random, but sometimes this reveals some sort of a inherent bias AI has. And if you know that AI has this bias and everybody uses this AI to ask similar questions about investing, then you can probably gauge like what will be the aggregate bias of people, and you can like try to front run the sentiment or like form some trading thesis around it as well. So that's one interesting angle. By the way, this is something that Alexander Good works with. Another thing that I kind of take from Alexander is I do think that before we see like huge, really tangible productivity improvements from AI, what will be much more visible in the future will just be this sort of AI entertainment matrix sort of thing, where people will get absorbed by AI-driven content, which will be much more tuned towards their own biases and whatever. So I kind of feel like this is a very interesting area to invest in, even though it's kind of dark. I would also say that, yeah, like investing in sort of like the things that propel this, it's almost sound like very sort of immoral thing to do, but many people will figure out that AI is much better at distracting people than it is at helping people, and it will just like keep happening. And then let's say like the counter sort of the shield against this, which I'm kind of the field that I'm looking at more only recently right now, is some AI focused cybersecurity. Basically, I would like to invest in like companies and tools that will provide some sort of protection against like fake news or like AI driven malicious exploits, social engineering hacks, because like it will keep proliferating. Like with chatbots, you can have like absolutely great charismatic scammer chatting with you 24/7 for like days and weeks, right? It doesn't get tired. So we'll probably need to invest much more into cybersecurity. I would say that this will be like one. Maybe it's not that underlooked. I think it's not such a controversial idea, but I still think it's not quite under the spotlight as like, I don't know, like semiconductors or some other obvious ways to invest in AI.
Yeah, that's great. And maybe just to close off this pod, I wonder if you have any like final like words of wisdom for someone who's just getting into or thinking about like investing into crypto, investing into AI. Is there anything you think you wish they kind of like knew, or you wish you kind of like knew during your beginning part of your journey, that you think they can sort of like take?
Well, I guess maybe like three things. First thing, which helped me a lot, and this is the thing that like is the most important thing, at least for me. Like the timing is not the timing of the market, like trying to figure out where to buy, where to sell, but the general trend timing is quite important. And usually the best time is the time where you are not sure is the best time. Like when I went full time in crypto in 2018 with starting the fund, it was like the throw of the bear market, and nobody believed anything makes sense, maybe apart from Bitcoin. And that was like super hard time to make the leap and like go all in, but it worked quite well, obviously with bit of luck. Timing with bit of luck is like more than anything. So like if you see a trend that you are excited about, but people still disagree with you on it, it's still worth to like kind of commit a lot of time to the trend. Like now we are talking about crypto. Crypto is entering this like pun intended escape velocity, right? AI is also way past, or LLMs are way past escape velocity. Both of these things are quite consensus, so it's worth allocating money there, because even though internet was consensus in 2010s, it still like keeps outperforming anything else on the large scale till today. So it doesn't mean that if something is consensus technology wise and adoption wise, it's already late. It's just probably not as easy to like make your name out of, because when I started investing in crypto, there were a bunch of funds, bunch of like people, but it was still such a small industry that you could very easily just reach anyone, and there was not like the elite like layer of people and companies was still not fleshed out. There was still like many changes there. Companies fell and then others replaced them. People fell, others replaced them, like investors, traders, founders. So it was still like it was very chaotic, and chaos is a ladder. I would say now with this, at least my opinion is now we are in this more like productivity phase where a winner keeps winning. It's a bit harder now to make your name out of it, and the same goes for AI, probably even more. So if you are an investor who has spare capital to invest, it's a great place to be. If you are someone who is like super young and wants to start from zero, I would still say crypto is a bit better place to be, especially some like niche parts of crypto which are still not like quite well fleshed out and captured by big players and institutions. And in general, like starting with not just AI investing but AI in general, I actually think that like learning how to think and reason and question and ask questions, almost like taking some sort of a very practical philosophy course, will be quite valuable in order to prompt the AI well. Because like the AI outputs I learned are quite dependent on how well you prompt it, and the people who know how to prompt it well and how to talk to it well, how to understand its biases and kind of overcome them, will definitely have an edge using AI to do anything. Like one like very simple example that even I saw was, if you have a degree from an art school and you understand the history of art and the art vocabulary, you can describe much better what kind of image you want, and the AI will generate the image that's much closer to what you want than if you just like say in general terms, I want image of something which does something, it's so the better you can describe anything to AI in the prompt, the better results you get. And for that you still need to learn. You can use AI to learn, you can also learn on your own, but AI should not be an excuse to stop learning something just because AI can now give you the answer somehow. So yeah, that would be my advice. So TLDR, learn to prompt, try to find new trend if you are young and want to start. Just bet on winners, keep winning if you already have some capital, and definitely get lucky like I got. That's the most important part.
Yeah, I think there's lots of for everybody to take away from all this, and I really learned a lot from all this. So yeah, thanks a lot for taking the time to have this chat with us, talk about everything in AI and crypto and how you think about things. Is there anywhere people should be following you, following your thoughts, following your team that you'd like to share?
Just follow Fiskantes on Twitter, and you will probably not see many of my thoughts, but you will see some shit posts mostly, and some hot takes about crypto and some other stuff sometimes.
Love that. Okay, that's great. Yeah, thanks everyone. And yeah, finally, if you just want to hear more from us, hit follow in your podcast app, subscribe. Teng Yan and with CK, and this was Escape Velocity, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.